Alex Hormozi did a fantastic video breaking down the bare bones of how to financially improve your situation even before you are necessarily building a business. And I think the principles laid out here just really simplifies things to an area that most of us probably don't consider. And so I wanted to look at this video, hopefully extract some additional information, wisdom, value from this, because I think this is something that many of us just don't consider when we're attempting to build something. And so let's jump into this video. This is called "I'm Broke, What Should I Sell?" This is listen, man. This is it right here for a lot of you guys. I'm broke. What should I sell? And I think he goes over all of it, and then he goes into specific things that you could be selling. And so if you're in a spot where you're broke, go.
I just gave a guest lecture last week at University of Texas for a class on entrepreneurship. There are some people here who don't try for shit. One of the key questions that many of the aspiring entrepreneurs in the classroom asked is, what should I sell? First off, we have to define what are the actual things that can be sold. And this may sound crazy, but there's actually fewer of them than you think. And there's digital and physical formats of each of these things, which actually give you 14 different things you can possibly sell. Once I define those, I'll talk about how we can increase the scale of the deliverable that we have using something that I call the delivery cube. Number one is you can sell products. You could sell a physical product, which would be like, I sell water bottles. A digital product would be something like a PDF. The second category is services. So this is stuff you do for other people. In the physical realm, a service would be a massage, mowing someone's lawn, fixing someone's car. On the digital side, oftentimes that service is something that happens in the digital space. So if you are an ad agency and you make ads, the ad itself that you're making is a service. Also, buying media is a service. All of those things would be digital services.
The beginning of this, selling a product or selling services, if someone's just getting started, what's going to be the more likely sure shot for them to improve their situation? Selling a product or selling a service?
Absolutely service. That's how I made my money. you know, that's what I did. I think
people underestimate everything that goes into selling a product.
Yes.
The upfront cost.
Yes.
The finding of vendors. Mm-hmm. The spacing, just the space to house everything.
Unless you're just hucking water bottles outside a baseball game.
Yes, but even then, that's not your product.
Exactly.
That's not really your product.
It's
like you're selling a product.
Yes.
And so I think people underestimate everything that goes into selling a product. Even I was looking at doing a denim jacket, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm at a spot where we have cash flow and we have relationships with people that are in fashion. Yeah. And even just doing that, I talking to my buddy who built a 7-figure clothing line. And I say, hey, I want to do like a really dope denim jacket. And I know I have the jacket. I know the jacket I want to recreate, make it our own, yada, yada, yada. He's like, cool, man. Yeah, like I could figure out a way. You're going to have this person custom build it for you, yada, yada, yada. And then, 800 pieces is the minimal. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I could afford 800 pieces, yeah. Say, whatever. It's
not light though.
$20 a jacket or whatever at 800. Like I could afford that. Yeah. But then I thought about, where are we going to freaking house 800 pieces of a denim jacket? You see what I mean?
Thank you for thinking of that.
but that's one of those things
yeah.
where someone will have a dream and be like, I want to do my own denim. And it's like, bro, do you understand what goes into building denim?
Yeah.
And forget building it, even if you get it built and it's the best denim in the world, housing it. And even if you get it built and housed, selling it.
Yep.
And then even if you get it built, housed, and sold it, you still got to fulfill all of it. This is not as simple as I got an idea, let me go build it, and then it'll, like, there's so much more to it. And that's why selling services is definitely a closer on-ramp for someone instead of trying to build a product initially.
Well, the biggest difference between product and service is with service, you can have a minimal viable product, mm-hmm. and with products, you can't. And what I mean by minimal viable product is the least amount of skill mm-hmm. required to make the most amount of money. Mm-hmm. So you can within 3 months of learning video editing, mm-hmm. you can be making a considerable amount of money, mm-hmm. a few $1,000s a month, mm-hmm. right? But with a product, you can't have the minimal viable product. You can't have a denim jacket that lasts one wash, mm-hmm. a denim jacket that's really cheap for the time being, mm-hmm. because you're trying to build brand around how good your product is. Mm-hmm. So you have to have the most perfect product, and it doesn't give you a lot of time to be in the market and actually trying that. Mm-hmm. Minimal viable product with a service gives you time to learn and grow while making money and doing it. So you're not just like, oh, I have to go to college and graduate and then have a few internships for free and then I can get a $50,000 a year job. Like, no, within the first 3 months, you can be making $24,000 a year with just one client on the side, and then eventually scale that up as you get better and create better and better projects. But here's the kicker: with services, it's often the easiest jobs that pay the most money. Think about plumbers, right? Are they building bathrooms all the time? When you're talking to the plumber that's building this bathroom, no. With their most of their money is a pipe burst. They're coming in and they're patching up the pipe, and so these plumbers that are massively skilled, great tradesmen, make the most amount of money from quick emergency jobs that they pull up to in their vans.
That's right.
And same with video editing, with filmmaking. The people that make the most amount of money are doing the really boring jobs for the corporate company that needs Zoom calls chopped down and then redispersed into their newsletter for their employees or for their customers. And it's the easiest stuff. So you actually can make the most amount of money with the least amount of effort.
Come on. There it is. That's a good. That's a good take.
Service industry life.
Yeah, that's a good
Category
take.
3, you have access. Physical access is like you lease a building. You gain access to the building. Digital access is you gain access to a library of digital content like Netflix. Category 4 is attention. You can sell or buy physical attention. That could be like a billboard. Cars physically drive past it and see it. To the same degree, Facebook and Google have digital attention and they sell the eyeballs and the attention of that audience.
That's basically what the content entertainment space is.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's
influencers.
It's a cross between selling access to some sort of subscription model, and then the revenue that's being generated from here is being generated because YouTube is selling ads and then doing a split with the creators.
Yep. And then it can go one level like deeper is if the creator gets sponsorships or brand deals.
Yeah. Yep.
Same sort of
which
thing.
we hate.
Yes, we hate that.
Category 5, like the hurricane, is risk. Selling insurance. You can insure a building, but you can also insure against, in the digital format, a cyber threat. If you're an established business owner and you sell physical products or even services, you can sell the risk associated with it, which is like insuring the product. So some people give guarantees, but you can actually get people to pay for a guarantee, which is insurance. Just like AppleCare is just paid for insurance. The next thing you can buy or sell is...
And by the way, there's a lot of folks making a lot of money in the insurance space.
Insurance industry can be low-key a scam though.
It can, for sure. But it's also, if you need life insurance, you need life insurance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. That's very true.
If you need car insurance, you need car insurance. But best believe that's not a charity.
Those life insurance ads definitely hit different when I have a baby on the way.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "Do you have a baby on the way?" I was like, "Yes."
Yes. Yep. And so mitigating risk is wise. The brilliance about that specific industry is that the people who mitigate the risk often are the more responsible people that'll never need the insurance. So it's one of those, like, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yes.
You know?
Great point.
Money itself. The entire banking industry is predicated on buying and selling money, and the rate they charge is the interest itself. And so you can have physical money, right, like the actual US dollars. You can also have digital money, which I'm not going to get into crypto, but that is a form of digital money. Category 7 is an endorsement or brand. In the physical world, I say, hey, you can use my logo on your shirt and you give me a percentage of all your sales. In the digital world, when they sell a check mark on Instagram, that is selling an endorsement, it's selling a brand, it's selling some sort of status that gets transferred and a fee is paid as a result of that. One of the key points here is that it can be a combination of those categories. So if someone sells a rock concert, for example, you're selling access to an experience, but you might also sell drinks and t-shirts while you're there. Then you might record it and then also sell the digital versions of that. See what I'm going with here?
So you're stacking. You can stack it. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
We sell ads through YouTube. We sell digital access through our own online community, and then we sell physical products like merchandise. And by the way, merchandise is the smallest margin and the hardest to fulfill, the most headache, the most labor intensive for the least amount of net profit.
Yes.
So when you guys are like, why are you selling a $150 hoodie? We're not making a ton of money off those $150 hoodies. That's just the truth, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It could potentially scale up But like, it's like what you said, we need an operator for
We
that.
would need an operator.
And
for
so
that.
then you're talking about hiring a whole nother person
Just to focus on that.
just to focus on
So
it.
we need a full-time person, staff,
Yes.
just to focus on physical products, which would, when you factor in the margins on those, are way less. And now we got to pay somebody full-time, a livable wage in Southern California. It may not even make sense.
You would be hiring someone full time to run the least profitable side of the business, which is why it's on the back burner. Eventually,
Yep.
the business will be set up in a position where that makes sense.
Yep.
Is the last key we got to hit.
In terms of picking which one to sell, it's mostly going to come down to two things. One is the resources you have and your skills, value, experience. If you're a first-time entrepreneur, then you're like, well, I don't have any other experience. But you actually do. And hear me out. Your parents did something. And if you don't have parents, the people who raised you did something. And if no one raised you, people you knew did something. And you were around them. So like,
It becomes progressively more ambiguous. As
Well,
it goes on.
because
people you do did something.
he's removing the out.
yeah.
Because someone's going to watch me, yeah, I ain't got no parents.
Yeah.
Listen, whoever made sure that you were not on the streets
Yeah.
did something you gleaned from,
Yep.
you know?
Like, for example, my mom is a doctor. She's an eye surgeon. So I know a lot of stuff about eyes. That would be a category of stuff that I actually know a lot more about than you might expect. If your dad was a mechanic, you probably know what a carburetor is. I have no idea what it is. I've heard the word before. Oftentimes you've had little odd jobs. Like when I was in high school, I was a blender tender, and then I did catering at an Orthodox Jewish company. You probably know a lot of stuff just from osmosis of being around it. We have these 7 things, digital and physical. Is there any one of these that I already have a little bit more experience with? And then of those things, which problem is the biggest that I think I can solve given the resources that I have access to? What I was talking about with this entrepreneurship
That's
group.
good. That's good. Which problem is the biggest I could solve with the resource, information, skills, knowledge, experience that I have?
Yeah.
I think why most people don't think like this is because of how hyper individualistic America is, that everyone's entitled to want to be passionate about what they do for money. That's not how it works.
On some like, I just haven't found my passion yet.
Yeah. Or I work this job, I hate it, it pays the bills, and I don't want to pivot to something that's more profitable, because if I pivot, I'd rather pivot to something that I like more. Who told you got to like what you do for work? For
Forever, yeah. Or
like
for the time being.
for a season,
Yeah.
right? Like I worked with adults with developmental disabilities. I wasn't necessarily the most passionate about that, but I did it and became passionate about it, right?
Yeah.
So if you would have asked me 2 years before I did that job, I would have been like, I'm going to go work, I would have never thought I was doing that. It was just, I needed a job.
Yeah.
It paid okay at the time. It gave me flexibility. They didn't care if I did shows and stuff on the side. And it was great. And it worked out. I think most people are like, oh, I got to love my job.
Yeah.
So you can go get certified in phlebotomy, which is taking people's blood out, considering you're not squirmish of blood. You can go do that.
Yeah.
You get certified in a weekend and make $25 floor.
Yeah.
$25 an hour floor. The floor is $25 an hour. And there's people that have so much pride that they rather work a job at a fast food place than to double their income.
I know
because they want to follow their passion.
A lot of people want to get started with freelance editing, video, all that stuff, but they know their value. And so they don't want to do videos for free. And like, or maybe they've been, the stickier situation is when you've been doing it for a year and you've been paid a couple $100 or you've been paid maybe almost $1,000, but you then think you're above free work still.
Yep.
And it's like, you don't understand the value in just building a relationship with somebody and then being able to leverage that for thousands of dollars worth of business.
Yep.
Is that they had $100 to start their business. Now, that would probably preclude you from most physical products, probably most kind of digital, like software type stuff.
If you have $100.
So most of the time, you're going to start selling your time, which is often services. Here's the person I provide the most value to. For the least amount of money, to me, that's where your sweet spot is as the first or next thing that I would probably package and sell. Once you've established that, how can I enhance or make it more or less valuable or more or less profitable for me as a business owner? The delivery cube has 6 pieces to it.
So he basically narrows it down and says selling your time is going to be the most advantageous initially based on an experience you have. I think most people would stand to benefit greatly in leveraging their experience, their life story, or something of that to sell their time to people. The thing is, that's not necessarily the goal. The goal isn't to forever sell your time. The goal is to sell your time for a season and then pivot to selling results.
Yeah.
If you're a great editor, then you can sell results instead of selling your time.
Yeah.
Right? If you are a great artist, if you're a great whatever. And so I think the initial aspect is sell your time, but then you don't want to be forever selling your time. You want to eventually be selling your results. We work full time, but we don't work 40 hours a week here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And even when we go to a 4-hour work week, what are we going to be doing?
We're going to be
It's going to be even less.
Yeah.
So
How effective can we be in a short period
in a
of
short
time?
period of time.
Yep.
And that is absolutely different than forever selling your time.
Can I deliver this thing one-to-one in a small group? Can I deliver it one-to-many? Each of these have different value propositions that are associated with them. If you sold semi-private group stuff, it's a small group of 5 people doing something, that's different than doing a webinar to 1,000 people at once versus having a call review system where you review someone's calls to give them feedback one-on-one. The second frame of the delivery cube is do it yourself, DIY, DWY, which is done with you, as in you're holding their hand through the process of whatever it is you're doing, or done for you, where you do all of the work yourself and you sell them a final product or some final outcome. Each of these give you different levels of scale. Do it yourself, you can sell an unlimited amount. Typically, the value is smaller. Done with you, you have in between the two extremes of do it yourself and done for you. Done for you is the most expensive typically, sometimes the easiest to sell, but one of the hardest things to deliver on.
This is good because here's a way to think about this from a nutrition standpoint. There is someone that can sell me their meal plan and give me a meal plan. Like my coach, Rich, who I was training with, he could put together a meal plan, but I would have to do it all for me. I would have to do it myself, right? Then there is someone that puts together a meal plan and calls me and texts me and checks in on me 3-4 times a week, like Coach JT, for my meal plan. And that is substantially more expensive because he's walking me through a customized meal plan and he's making sure he's checking in on me. He's telling me what to shop, what kind of food to get, how to prep it, yada, yada, yada. And then there's the done for you, which is I just checked out a new meal prep company. They make the meals for me and deliver them to me, right? So there's a value ladder based on what it is that we're doing. The one that's done for me is going to be the most expensive. Right? Having meals delivered at my door every Sunday is going to be more expensive than here's a PDF of what you should be eating, or here's a PDF of what you should be eating, and then I'll call you and make sure you're eating it, or I'll text you and make sure you're eating it. Okay, so anyway, you guys can check out Alex's whole video. I think it's really good, and there's still a whole second half of it left, but hopefully this gets your wheels spinning in terms of different things you could be selling, how to start earning more money so that you could eventually pivot and launch the thing maybe that you're eventually passionate about, that it's not a one-for-one. I want to be passionate about this and then I'm going to eventually do this. Hey, this clip is from our daily after party stream. If you enjoyed it, consider signing up for our Patreon community for only $5 a month, where you get access to the replays of our daily after party streams, as well as the uncut extended versions of our podcast, Discord access that's private, and a discount code for our merch store, only $5 a month. And ultimately, it's the best way to help us contextualize the gospel of Jesus using media, podcasting, and of course, YouTube. The link for that is in the description or in the pinned comment. The perks are amazing. You should get on there. It's only $5 a month. I'll see you over there, all right? Peace.